Yo, what's going down, guys? Brother Stevanius here. Welcome back to Command Center Wargaming. Fantastic. Now, the first thing you'll notice about this video is that I cannot be seen on the screen for once, and there's a reason for this. The reason is I basically just didn't want my noggin to interfere with whatever was going on here in the screen, okay, in the screen real estate. So, for those of you who give a crap, I'll be back in the videos in the future. But for this video, I thought it would be better just to keep it off, give you more view of the screen. Now, what I want to talk to you about today is I'm going to have a look at some places where you can get extra parts and sort of customizable parts for expanding your armies in the hobby. Now, especially for like the Horus Heresy and things like that, we all know Games Workshop, have taken a lot of stuff down. They basically remove stuff monthly from their Forge World store, that's for sure. And sometimes I find that, you know, they they're lacking a lot of variety in their models. Like stuff just can look really generic, especially let's say if for 40k, if you've got like intercessors, you got like 3 blocks of 20 or 3 blocks of 10 intercessors on the table. I can't take 20 intercessors, but and then all of a sudden, eventually they start to get to look a little bit repetitive. So what I found is really cool, is going through and sort of finding some bits and pieces for your army and sort of doing conversions, which is awesome. Now, how this came about was, obviously I'm an Alpha Legion player. I'm an Alpha Legion nutcase. In 30k, and I play them in 40k as Heretic Astartes. But the thing is of the Alpha Legion stuff is Games Workshop, Forge World did have a fair bit of stuff on the website. They still have things here and there, but a lot of stuff has been discontinued, like the torsos and things like that, which really help to give us a lot of customization in the armies. Uh, and now what I've actually started doing a Alpha Legion Primaris force just for the lols. It's like a home brew chapter that I'm basically doing just to have some casual games with. I plan to use the Raven Guard rules for them, because I really love the Alpha Legion. I love the way they look. I love their style. But obviously, I reckon there should be a loyalist version of them in the canon fluff in the 40k era. Maybe there is. I don't know. There's a pretty big argument there. A lot of people say that Alpha Legion are still loyal, and I think that there are actually two sides of that story. I think that's probably another video, but what I will say is, because I've brought it up, is that even though I think, deep down, at its core, in 40k, Alpha Legion are chaos, they sort of live outside the warp, and there are definitely elements of the Alpha Legion that have been corrupted by chaos, but at the same time I think there's pockets of loyalists sort of running around as well. Because the thing is with a lot of the Alpha Legion lore, especially in 30k, there were like regiments and of Marines that were like trying to get back to Terra, from the Alpha Legion, to get back to the Emperor. That sort of defected from Alpharius and things like that. And then there was this whole thing with Omegon. But anyway, that's I digress. So basically, look, my problem is as a Alpha Legion player is that I want to have my army look unique. And the problem is, especially with the Horus Heresy stuff, like there's a lot of stuff that isn't available. So, and when I was doing my Primaris Marines, my Alpha Legion Primaris, I basically, decided I wanted to add a little visual flavor to them as well. Now, the thing is basically that when I was sort of going through, I thought it'd be kind of mad to add a lot of sort of like halberds and things like that you can see here. And I could, as a CG artist, I could sort of render up my own and 3D print my own and stuff like that. But I thought, well, no one's got time for that. I mean, it's something I had planned, to do. I still might do it on the channel, but I'm going through just finishing armies. It's been really cool. In the last week and a half, which is awesome. But yeah, so I decided, look, I wouldn't mind doing a Primaris Alpha Legion force, a bit of a homebrew. I know a lot of the subscribers, you guys have been talking to me about it for ages. I think Alan Morris has basically come out and said, Steve, like you should do a homebrew and things like that. And so I sort of got it, I've got like, boxes, Imperial Fist boxes and Tooth and Claw boxes are sitting there. And, they were going to be for Space Wolves, but I kind of already got, tacticals for that. So sort of gonna make it Primaris army out of it and stuff, and that was pretty cool. And so I actually had a chat to Yip, and Yip and I were having a chat. I said, well, look, I want to sort of come up with a paint scheme for my Alpha Legion, and I'll just pop over to my Instagram quickly. You can see some of my older paint schemes here for the Alpha Legion, and and one of the things I keep running into is that my Ultramarines are metallic blue, right? So I'm kind of like, okay, well, my Alpha Legion always kind of has to be like a teal or something like that. I haven't got photos of my troops. That's incorrect. You can't go by that. Um, but they're pretty much all this sort of like light bluey sort of teal color. You can see here a lot of stuff going on. So I can't make them too dark blue because then people are going to be like, okay, well, that's like your Ultramarines. So I've always going to say. Then I had the Seekers. Again, you can see it's not the actual color. Like sometimes what I do is, guys, I take photos of this stuff and then I revise the scheme and then I go over it again. I fix things, do tweaks on things and stuff like that. In this case, I did a completely different new mix for the top, as you can see. It's this more green mixed in there. Okay, but essentially, like I was kind of thinking, well, you know, I want my Alpha Legion Primaris to be unique. So here's something I put together. This is like a Exodus helmet, and from the sniper, and I basically got here. It's a Primaris captain. I'm thinking, this is pretty cool. This is working really well. And then I started. This is a scheme I came up with because I said to Yip, I said, well, look, what do you reckon that like Alpha Legion should be? Should it be, my Primaris ones? And because my 30k guys are really light in tone, going off the what was the book called again? Book 3, Extermination, I think it was. If you look at the Alpha Legion in that, which is sort of how I've modeled my Alpha Legion, is basically that they're very light in color. They have a lot of those white racing stripes and stuff. Because the problem is, again, in 40k Alpha Legion for Chaos, everything is dark, right? So it's like I've got my dark turquoises, things like that happening for my Traitorous, which can be seen down here somewhere, right? So you can see there's a lot more of a teal sort of thing going on. And my idea with the Alpha Legion has always been that, the more sort of distant they've gotten from being loyalists, the darker they've gotten. So the more sort of like the more loyalist they are, the more they are in line with the Emperor. Now, anyway, okay. So Yip said we should go with darker color. I think like that was sort of my answer of it. I like it. They actually look a little bit different to what they look here in real life. Um, but I'm really looking liking the blue so far. I will post more of these guys, to the channel, to the Instagram, as I'm going to the Facebook pages. So make sure you follow us there. But I'm happy with it, and what I love about it is basically that, you know, they can actually, even though they're different to my normal Marines, they can actually still fit in because one of the things that I have found with, I feel personally with Alpha Legion, everyone has, sort of like a different, perspectives on what's paint scheme should be. Like some people will paint ultramarines as dark blue or dark indigo or ultramarine blue, which is a color. Other people will say, oh, I don't like that, and they'll go through and they'll say ultramarine should be electric blue. They'll say ultramarine should be light blue. Ultramarine should be teal. I mean, whatever. Like it's your army, you paint it as you want. And that's the most important thing. The most important thing is that you as the commander of your army and owner of your army are happy with the models. And, you know, that's just sort of the way I roll with it. You know, I don't really look for stuff that I think people like. You know, I look for stuff that I think, you know, I like. And I'm happy with this because to me, it's sort of like a contrast between, you know, it's sort of fluffy. It's like, you know, there was a division of Alpha Legion that were, you know, stored away by Call before they turned traitor in the Heresy. They still are metallic, you know, which is what I think Alpha Legion should be. Um, and I wanted my, you know, my Alpha Legion to be metallic because, in my opinion, that's the point of Alpha Legion, right? That's basically the you know, the point of it. Otherwise, go paint Ultramarines, go paint Night Lords, go paint, you know, like whoever. If you want to do normal turquoise, go paint the Sons of Horus, right? You know, so it's kind of like, to me, if your scheme as Alpha Legion isn't metallic, it's just not, you know, it's not 100%. And once again, like, you know, what's important is that you like it. That's just my opinion. You know, even in the books, in Exodus, sorry, not Exodus, Extermination, if you look at the photos of them, you can tell they've got like a metallic sheen, like they're metallic. That's kind of the way it is. You know, it even states in the book that they can be shifting between colors and stuff, which sort of implies that they have, you know, a sort of like a color shifting armor. And what I like to think about as well with the Alpha Legion, it's actually in the fluff in the books, is that, you know, they're very stealthy and they're very crafty. But, you know, at first I was kind of like, well, you know, with this Alpha Legion, you know, there's this big giant, like 10-foot warriors clad in like power armor as thick as, you know, a freaking like Great Wall of China. How are these guys going to be running around in stealth? But then the books actually go through and talk about how, you know, the Alpha Legion stealth is actually sort of mixed in with their, you know, their hacking security systems. They have a spy network where they can override cameras and stuff like that. That mixed in with sort of cloaking fields and stuff like that, and which I think is a really, really good, you know, sort of outline for Alpha Legion. And and yeah, so I like to think, you know, personally, that that, you know, their armor could sort of be like, you know, color shifting or like translucent, you know, sort of like sort of cloak itself in the environment or something like that. And that's kind of like why I like to do my Alpha Legions metallics. But anyway, to the point of this video, I suppose, is basically that the reason, and you know, why I went onto these websites, these conversion corners and conversion worlds and Pop Goes the Monkey and stuff like that, was to find ways to make these guys unique, because I didn't want to make them just, you know, traditionally Primaris. You know, just like with the normal, you know, oh gee, you know, that's the same as Ultramarines, the same as the Blood Angels, the same as the Dark Angels, you know, with that sort of the mask, the standard Primaris Intercessor mask, which looks great, don't get me wrong, and I will have a few of them sort of like up in there doing that as the standard Intercessor mask. But you know, but I kind of wanted to go for, you know, a unique look for him. And you can see here I've actually got, you know, the Forge World helmets and the Exodus masks, stuff like that. But, you know, I sort of know that I'm going to need to go past things in this point, right? So, and I know, like, I think, yeah, the blue does look a little bit over the top, sort of incandescent right now. But one thing I've kind of learned with painting minis is that once you start putting the null oil on, once you start putting like, you know, and I don't put the null oil over the top of the whole model either. I actually take the time and I go through, you know, paint stuff in. It takes a while, but painting in the recesses. With these models, I'll probably be doing a pin wash with black oil paint though, which is a bit of a trick of mine that I use to help the Alpha Legion metallic factors sort of come through. And, you know, for all those people asking about my Alpha Legion recipe and stuff, guys, look, what I can tell you, and this is what, you know, how I sort of went about it. guys, there's tutorials all over the internet. I will be doing some on the channel. I do have some tutorials on Alpha Legions, sort of how I do my metallics and stuff like that. No specific recipe, that I've put up, but really, there's a Forge World recipe out there. My advice to you is have a look at the Forge World recipe, um, practice it a bit, learn the techniques, and just come to a theme that you like. Because the problem is why I haven't done like a step-by-step 21 step process Steve's Alpha Legion painting guide yet is basically because it's not going to come out the same for you as it does for me. Like I follow tutorials, on the net, and like I never get the result that they get. Like I've had some crazy wacky stuff. The other day I was like, trying to test something out. I spent all day like testing Alpha Legion schemes out. Like, and that's the other thing too, guys. Like I spent days and like hundreds of dollars, researching paints and all that kind of stuff in my room. And and don't get me wrong, like I'm happy to sort of drop the breadcrumbs to my subscribers and stuff because you guys are like watching the videos. But in reality, I mean, I go through, I spend all this stuff, I do all this stuff. It's Alpha Legion armies. For those of you who don't play Alpha Legion, you have to understand the psychology of Alpha Legion players. Our armor is a very personal thing for us. It's kind of like, if you were to have a Space Wolf army and, like you're sort of like, it's all about, how mean can you get those axes going? Or like say a Death Guard army, and it's all sort of like all about like, oh man, how you do your weathering, how you do your chipping, how you do your dirt, on your models for Death Guard, especially 30k. With Alpha Legion, it's like painting the undercoat, like the base coat, is like half the army, like half the thing, and it's a very personal thing for us. And most of the guys, most of the guys online do not tell you their formulas, and that I think that's fair enough. Like they'll give you hints, like I do, but at the end of the day, like they're not just going to come out and just sort of like they go out, spend days and weeks or months or like working out stuff, and then they're just going to drop it. Like it's like so yeah. But I mean, like as I said, I do have videos on the channel, guys. For those of you who have been asking, you could do Alpha Legion with contrast. Um, you know, the, just Duncan did a tutorial with contrast paints, Alpha Legion. That looks great. Mix some of the Talisar blue in with that one, guys. I've got a tutorial on my channel, and you're going to get something very similar to this. You're not going to get the reflectivity of it because contrast paints suppress the shininess. I like my Alpha Legion shiny, but you will definitely be able to get some like really nice teals going on with contrast. I use Tamiya paints, by the way, for my Alpha Legion, and I don't have any secrets. I thin the stuff down with Tamiya 23XA thinner. It's the acrylic one. I think that's the name of it. But anyway, so look, I'll do a video another time maybe on that stuff, but let's go have a look at some websites. I'm going to be going through Conversion World. I'm going to be having a look through Pop Goes the Monkey. Now, a lot of you guys might have actually known about these already. I knew about Pop Goes the Monkey, but I didn't know about Conversion World. I found out about Conversion World. There's a Alpha Legion player. He's actually Australian, believe it or not. He's from Melbourne. His handles, I think his name's Kieran Douglas, I think, and his handle on Bolter and Chainsaw and Daka Daka is, I think it's uh, Kizdug or something, Kizdug, and he's got a freaking fantastic looking Alpha Legion army, and he pretty much like wrote the book. Aside from Forge World, I started my Alpha Legion stuff based off his tutorial. And so that would be something that I can recommend that you guys have a look at, because he has some really good tutorials on it. But anyway, he did this Alpha Legion commander. I had a custom spear, and he said that like he went to this site Conversion World. Now I just put an order in with these guys. I haven't received anything yet, but they do ship to USA, Europe, Great Britain, Australia, and Canada, which is pretty much the main sites. They've also got Facebook groups, things like that. They do free shipping in the US. I think it's in the USA only, but their shipping charges are very reasonable, right? Like I put in a pretty big order with these guys because I got a lot of Alpha Legion stuff coming, a lot of conversion stuff coming that I want to be working on, and it came to like I think it was like under $100, and I ordered like like 50 freaking parts or something, so it was really good. But yeah, look, there's a few sales on and stuff like that. But what I kind of wanted to do was just have a look at some of the things. So you guys might want to have a look yourself. I'll leave a link in the comments down below in the description to both these websites, Pops Goes the Monkey and Conversion World. And yeah, so let's have a look. So the first thing is melee weapons. Melee weapons, they've got a few of it. You can see here how it's divided up. Now, there are a few sections with nothing in there. I thought about giving my Alpha Legions some flails as well, which was pretty funny. Here we go. So there is this annoying loading thing that comes up. Conversion World, if you ever watch this, I highly recommend you just get rid of that if you can. It's really annoying, especially when you're checking out. But anyway, they don't have an Australian price here either. It's just US, but who cares? No one cares about Australians. And I can say that because I'm Australian. But it's not true. They should. I'm not saying that they shouldn't. Like, they should care about Australians. But, like, at the end of the day, we're a small little island, as only Adonis would point out many times. But anyway, so you can see here there's some really cool, unique looking chainsaws, some really awesome swords here. I ordered this one for my Alpha Legion. I reckon it looks really close to the Forge World one, which is really cool. Also, this one as well, I really like for my Legion. Looks really close to the Forge World one. You can see here the prices are reasonable as well. You got to remember, this is not like, a mass production sort of facility. This is sort of more for your, just little bits and pieces. And then they're probably going to, have to charge a little bit more because they're physically 3D printing the stuff. But yeah, so it looks like a Blood Angel. Could be anything, really. You could put, like, let's click on that for a second. See that annoying little spinning wheel again? So you could put anything there. You could put a Blood Angel symbol in there. You could put, like, a Dark Angel sort of, symbol, even an Ultramarine symbol. So it's what I really like about them. They really sort of look generic, so that you can then take it further. So that's that one there. Let's go through and take a look at the... I mean, I'm not going to go through all of these guys. I'm just going to have a look at some of the coolest ones. So some spears, some absolutely fantastic spears here. Like, check this out. Like, that spear's good. I love that spear. I will... I think I got some halberds. I didn't get a spear yet, but it really fits into the Alpha Legion scheme too. I probably should have got some spears, but I thought maybe I'll just leave it for another time. Axes. So there's definitely some really cool axes on here. So World Eaters, Corn Berserkers for Chaos, and you can see you got your double axes here. Your great double axes. Here's another really cool axe that you could use for a Space Marine army. Once again, like, what's really fantastic is that you can actually... Oh, that's got a big blood drop on it, so that's going to be for Blood Angels, I suppose. But you can file that off. I don't feel as though that's a massive issue. Let's have a look. Go to shields. Actually, let's stick to melee weapons. So maces I won't worry about. The Warhammer is pretty crap, actually. Halberds. Check out the halberds. Let's have a look over here. So you go here to halberds, and you can see, like, there's some really cool halberds. I got this one. I like this one. It's sort of like aquatic, like Aquaman. It's got this sort of cutlass sort of feel on the back, which I thought was really, really cool. And I think it'd be awesome to, like, do some conversions later with the Primaris Marines. Having some, intercessors running around, like, with these sort of halberds, I think would be really cool and add a lot of individualism to the army. Which is kind of why I'm doing it. Because, like, as I said, we all know there's no Loyalist Alpha Legion in the fluff, in the 40k era. So why would there be Primaris? So why would you do it, Steve? Well, I want to add a little bit of flair. All right, so And, I guess I usually am always doing stuff that's, very sort of codex compliant, I guess you could say. Going through and, doing everything like, painting stuff the way it looks in Forge World. Apropos my headhunters, uh, you know, modeling them, the best that I can, like to the way that they are in the current meta and stuff. So conversions was something I might have did a little bit before, but I never sort of went all out on it. And I think that like it's another element of the hobby that I really like. So some swords there, more swords there. We'll go have a look at the. So there's some shields. Look some large shields. In case any of you guys are doing any breacher squads and stuff, you can see like, you've got like shields for the Minotaurs, Salamanders. That's another one you could use for the Minotaurs. You sort of like, the Minoan Crete Labyrinth there. This could kind of work for Alpha Legion. It could also work for Ultramarines. Got that sort of Greek kind of stuff going outside. Could work, it could work for anyone really. Would have been nice to see some Imperial Fist stuff there. I think that is, that could be modular. You could make to anyone, but I wouldn't be able to see an Imperial Fist guy running around with a shield in that shape, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. You do you. All right, so fantastic. Skip a few of these. The shoulder pads are a bit meh. No jump packs, body parts. Let's have a quick look at the body parts. Just click over here, body parts. Ah, yes. So here's some hands for holding the weapons, and I wasn't a big fan of that helmet, but I grabbed this helmet, like, for my Alpha Legion. I'm thinking, like, this helmet looks pretty cool, and especially for Alpha Legion, it's got sort of like this sort of like lip on the top. And I'm thinking that these guys would work really well for, aggressors. Um, like instead of like that normal sort of helmet, using these as aggressors would be pretty cool. I don't know if I'm going to have aggressors in the army yet. I've got eliminators are definitely in the army. A couple of the new dreadnoughts and stuff, a couple of the old dreadnoughts. I'm still putting it together. Like I said, it's based off the Raven Guard meta at the moment. And like I like Raven Guard, don't get me wrong, but the thing is with Raven Guard is I'm just sick of painting black. I've painted like Death Company, Death Watch, all black. I don't want like a third or fourth. Black Legion is black. I play all these armies. It's like I don't need another black army, man. Like I'm sick of playing black, painting black. And don't get me wrong, black is awesome. It's a freaking epic color and it looks absolutely amazing on armies. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, I want to be doing something different. So that's Conversion World. Look, guys, I mean, I'm not promoted by them or anything. I got no idea who these guys are, but they're really cool, and I ordered some stuff from them. Hopefully, they get here, expediently, and hopefully they, come here in good quality. I'll let you guys know, as always, how my experience has been with ordering from these guys in the future. Um, you know, every time a lot of subscribers know that, every time I have a good experience or a bad experience, I talk about it on the channel. I feel it's important to give the feedback to the community. And it's not because I'm a salty hater or anything like that. It's simply that, quality is dictated by feedback. And the way I see it, if I'm not giving feedback on my adventures as a wargamer to these companies who I'm a customer of, paying the bills of, keeping them operational, then I can't freaking complain, if stuff isn't on track. Let's talk about the new Star Wars movie. It's not looking too good, 57% at Rotten Tomatoes, but once again, that's another video. So the next website I wanted to talk to you guys today is Pop Goes a Monkey. Pop Goes a Monkey is also really cool. Once again, it's a bit hit and miss. I find like there's a lot of epic stuff on here, but I also find that some of the sort of models or the embroidering, whatever it is, can look a little bit kiddie, a little bit soft. But with that said, there is a crap ton of variety here, guys. an absolute crap ton. Like if you look here, you see they've even got like blood angels, blood ravens, eagles without the blood drop, and stuff like that. So the Captain American Star, so Ultramarines, Alpha Legion symbols, and all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of variety on here. It's basically a website, catering for things that Forge World either don't stock or have discontinued. Now, one of the things I really, really use this website for is custom doors for like rhinos and stuff like that. Um, like putting together my Alpha Legion, like they've discontinued rhino doors for that kind of stuff. So, even though I probably like the transfers better, chances are Forge World are going to discontinue them at some point. So, I'm going to need something, and that's where, once again, I do enough 3D modeling, so I don't really need to be sort of doing this as well. This is the one thing that I have left creatively in my life that isn't a job, So that's what's really cool about this channel. I could just come on and just sort of rant on and go blah 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 blah, and hammer it. But anyway, so guys, once again, I can't go through every single thing on here, but you can see here some of the cool conversions that are available. You could search by insignia sets, right? You can search by armor. So if you're looking for Terminator armor, okay, helmets, etc. Weapons, right? So what kind of, say you want some custom like plasma weapons. Let's have a look. It's something I'm going to need for my Alpha Legion 30k, because I either pay $100 a pop on eBay, or I I have to buy one free. So let's click on heavy weapons, and you can see here. Look, guys, there's an array. You've got your Reaper cannons, sort of rip-offs, not rip-offs, inspired. They've drawn inspiration from it. Heavy bolters just ends there. No plasma weaponry by the looks of it, but there are sort of like las cannons, which are cool. Maybe I've just clicked on the chaos side of things. I don't know. But that's okay. Look, this is really cool for noise marines. Sonic cannon. Um, Once again, here's another example of the designs kind of not quite being the greatest. I find that that's a little bit bland. It's a little bit too square for a chaos sort of gun, from Slanesh. But whatever. I mean, it could be for a loyalist, Emperor's Children, whatever. Okay. So you can search for weapons, vehicle bits, Dread's armor. Yeah, there's a lot of cool Dread's armor. So you can see here you've got like a lot of Dreadnought. So here's a canopy for that. I can't remember what it's called now, but the Dreadnought. Yeah, Redemptor. The other one, the Avatar one, the Avatar mech one. Um, some Salamanders stuff here, some cool stuff on here. Some Alpha Legion one, and again, that's a little bit too soft for my liking. I would have preferred that they just had it as a scales, and then you could have stuck something else separately on, which is how it might be. I'm not 100% sure because I've never ordered that, but that's sort of what I'm getting from the photo. Um, and yeah, like you got character kits and all sorts of stuff. So you can see here, this is really cool. If you wanted to put together like um, some jump jet infantry, if you run out of jump packs, you can sort of get like a bit of a cool thing going on there. So I believe last time I was here, you could actually search via Legion as well. Um, Maybe they've taken it. Oh, here we go. Browse by faction. So let's check it out. Let's check out something for Adam Edgar. So Adam Edgar is a Death Guard player. So you can see he got Chaos, Loyal Empire, Death Watch, Inquisition. Here we go. Let's have a look. Death Guard. Hopefully they've got stuff on the Death Guard. That's going to be a pretty serious boo-boo on their behalf if they don't. Oh, I'm not seeing anything here, guys. Dark Crusaders. Well, unless I've missed it, there's no Death Guard. Okay, let's have a look at some Dark Angel stuff there for Lion's Pride. Which is pretty fair enough. There's not much, Dark Angel stuff. I mean, sorry, Death Guard stuff. It's all just sort of like, smashed in friggin' armor and, oh, then again, I suppose there could be some really cool sort of, warp transformations and disfigurations. But maybe you can have a look under Zinch, you know what I mean? Like under Emperor's Children or under, we call them Thousand Suns. They might have some stuff here. But here we go, some cool stuff. So you can get, these are really cool. These are one thing I really like. It's like the Terminator shoulder pads. And, the quality looks pretty decent. So, I haven't actually ordered from these guys. So, I'm not sure what the quality is like. Let me know in the comments down below if you've ordered from these guys, if they're any good. Okay, so they've had to... I found Death Guard. They're over here. So what they've done is to avoid copyright infringements, they've had to rename things. That's all. So here we go. Here's some Death Guard stuff. So you've got, the sort of Nurgle trilogy, kind of stuff going on. It just gives you a lot of options. If you've got a really big army, they were shirts too. If you've got a really big army and it's starting to look very sort of repetitive, then you could come here and check that out. So, and Hydra Legions, Alpha Legion, check that out really quickly. So some really cool stuff here for Alpha Legion. These shoulder pads. I personally do prefer the stickers though. I do think the stickers look awesome, but these look really cool too. I'm probably going to chuck in an order for some of those. Again, I'm not a fan of the Hydra, but that looks cool. Here are some doors for rhinos, which are better than nothing. Or are they combat shields? Oh, they're shields with bolters out the front. Okay. This is the important part. So, you've got the good old rhino sort of accessories and stuff like that. So even still, like if you've got a rhino, like me, I've got like 50 freaking 40k rhinos, and I need more Horus Heresy ones. But like I need to convert it, but I don't want to buy more rhinos. So it's like, well, what I can do is, I could get these sort of front panels and just stick them in there to convert them over. And here you've got, some X's for like the X Legions and stuff. You've got some bolters, which is really cool. So some really nice stuff for Alpha Legion here. They obviously a lot of variety. They clearly know that like Forge World support for them has been dropped quite a bit. That's nice. That is super cool. Going through here and looking at all the stuff. Yeah, like I said, the Hydras look a bit kiddie. I'm not a big fan of these helmets either, but still, like there is a lot. Oh, that sword looks absolutely horrible. What toy box did that come out of? But again, in the land when there's, things that are discontinued, these sites become really good. So yeah, check it out. See what you can come up with. So here we can search by parts. There's Taratos Terminator armor. Sort of these Ultramarine ones can look really cool actually. Black Templar stuff looks really cool. Helmets, so you can just have a look at helmets. So there's some pretty gnarly helmets on here. Some really cool sort of generic ones. And not a fan of the rest of it. This is kind of cool for Thousand Suns, like the whole Egyptian thing, the Nubis head. Some decent stuff. Some variety, and I think that's really cool. So anyway, guys, look, I will be doing more videos, and I think one of the ones I want to make coming up is talking about how I got into 40k and asking you guys how you got into 40k, but we'll say that for another video. And there's definitely some stuff coming up, but I think I'll leave that video there. And like I said before, sorry I didn't appear in the video, guys, but I just felt it was better that this time anyway, for once, that like you had a full clear screen. And, you know, if it's a more of a sort of like a bit of a chatty video anyway, you know, we're coming up to the holidays. I really want to get back into finishing my Primaris homebrew chapter. So, you know, it's all good, but there'll be definitely more coming. All right, everybody, Brother Stevanius here, Command Center Wargaming. I'll see you again, you know, very soon. But if I don't, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. But I'll probably have a video out, you know, within a day or two. See you later, everybody. Take care.